Greetings, hello ladies and gentlemen, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new for 2021 CollectA Standard Range Kamuysaurus. This is one of the figures that I was looking forward to the most out of CollectA's 2021 offerings, so why don't we jump in and take a closer look at it. Alright, so first of all, this thing is small. As you can see in comparison to my hands there, it is absolutely tiny. Way smaller than I thought it would be just by looking at the promo images that we got. And the detail that's captured on here is really great. I think the detail is prominent enough, even though this thing is really small, and the scales are all at a reasonable size for the scale that this creature was replicated in. So I really have no complaints with the detail. I think CollectA did a wonderful job with it overall here. The toned musculature across the limbs and the body in general looks really good. Once again, the legs look a little bit funky, particularly the left leg for me, and it's one of those situations where I can't quite pinpoint what looks so weird to me, but it's just something about the shaping and the musculature on it that looks a little bit off. And CollectA has a fairly consistent trend of not doing great with the shaping and toning of muscles on their dinosaurs' legs, particularly their theropods, but this Kamuysaurus definitely far from the worst I've seen, and it might just be me at the end of the day. I really love the addition of those scoots running down the spine in that reddish brown color, which I think is really nice. It contrasts with the greens on the body overall. The hands and feet are very dainty and look really nice overall, and another thing too is this figure isn't too bendy. This is a solid little figure for the price. Let's take a closer look at that little head quickly. A very nice little expression on the face, and the eye of course done in the glossy black color, trademark CollectA thing. You see there's a little crest done in that reddish brown color on the top of the head there. The beak is done in a brown, and the interior of the mouth does have a fleshy pink color in there, which is a nice little touch for how small it is. And another thing I wanted to mention is the proportioning here is pretty much spot on. It looks great in comparison to the fossilized materials we have of Kamuysaurus. We have a fairly complete skeleton of this ornithopod, and it's cool that CollectA jumped on making a little figure of it, because I didn't know it existed until they made this figure, which it's a pretty common thing for CollectA to introduce me to a new species. Now, the only other thing that I wanted to talk about with this one is the coloration, and this is where my disappointment kind of comes in, and this is very subjective, keep in mind. I liked the shade of green, the main shade of green across the body, that they used in the promo images better than this final model. I feel like the green stripes going down the body contrasted nicer with the color scheme when it was more of a lighter spring green than this darker green color that's used across the body. I still like the coloration overall, and in a way I kind of like the subtleness of the stripes, but at the same time I am a little bit disappointed because I really liked the original shade of green that they had going, and it is quite different in hand. But besides my own subjective disappointment with the in-hand coloration here, the amount of colors used on this figure is very surprising for the price. This figure cost me $4 US, which is pretty darn cheap, and you can see we have a white color on the underbelly, we have the main dark green on the body, the brighter green stripes, we have the yellow airbrushed on the side, the reddish brown color going down the back, the brown color for the beak and the hands, the gray for the claws, the pink on the inside of the mouth, and we have the black eye. They just really put 110% into maximizing color usage for this tiny figure, which I really appreciate. So for the paint quality alone in comparison to what you're paying for this one, I'd say it's totally worth it. Now, and the other thing I wanted to mention is I was a big fan of that stripe that's on the face between the eye and the cheek in the promo images. I thought it complemented the shade of green that they had in the promo images for the main color on the body. But with this darker green, I feel like that just sticks out a little bit too much and looks a little bit too blocky, and it's just kind of a aesthetically odd place for a stripe, but I do appreciate it for being very unique, and this little figure does stand out just because it has that facial stripe. So as much as I subjectively and aesthetically am not a huge fan of it now, I think it just gives this figure a little bit of extra visual flair. Alright guys, and I think that covers my thoughts for this new CollectA 2021 Kamuysaurus from the standard range. I say grab this one. If you're looking for a nice little hadrosaur figure This one's only $4 US on Minizoo. Highly recommend checking them out. I'll put a link down below into the description so you can go grab yours there. Very reasonably priced, and I think it just is a nice little figure to slip into your collection. But anyway, in case you're wondering how large this one is, from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, we are looking at about 5 inches long, which is right around 13 centimeters, and in terms of the height at the highest point, which is the back on the animal here, we're looking at about 1 3/4 inches, which is right around 5 centimeters. And for our quick comparison, here it is with another standard range ornithopod from last year, which is the Fukisaurus that I've named Cookie. I think the reasoning for that name should be obvious. The Fukisaurus here is still my favorite ornithopod figure from CollectA. It just has such an aesthetically pleasing pose. I love the colors on it, and overall just the style choices on this one just appeals to me a little bit more than the Kamuysaurus, but they're pretty close overall, and they both have kind of a unique style going with their colors and detail. And I really appreciate the style of detailing that they went for on the new Kamuysaurus. I think the size of the scales across the body actually looks much better than the size that they used on the Fukisaurus from last year. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this review of CollectA's 2021 Kamuysaurus. Definitely recommend this one if you're looking for a very reasonably priced and striking little hadrosaur figure. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in my next video. So take care, and bye-bye.